Okay, so I'm going to make this video for today's assignment. And again, just put this on your piece of paper if you're doing it on a separate sheet of paper. Okay, it's 4.0b. And then also put your first and last name on there. And then what we're doing here is we're writing proofs. Okay, we're completing proofs. Let me see if I can move my picture somewhere else. I think right here will be okay. So then what I want to do, remember from the notes, you always want to start off with the given statements. Okay, you want to verify two things. First, you want to verify that they're in the diagram, A, B, and C, D. So here's A, B, here's C, D, and they are marked in the diagram. And then the other thing is side BC and side AD. So here's BC and here's AD. And they also are marked off in the diagram. So then you want to put, this is the first statement, AB. That goes first. And I know, like this is a statement saying side AB is congruent to another side CD. Now over here is like, how do I know that information is true? Well, that information was given to me, right? That's the justification for knowing this is true. If we go to the next statement, the next statement says BC is congruent to AD, right? And we put it down here in the second line. And then again, how do I know that information is true? Well, that also was given to us. Okay? That information is given to us. Now what we're trying to lead to, what we're trying to get to, is you're trying to get to the proof that you have one triangle congruent to another triangle. Okay, and in this case, this triangle ABC, which is the top triangle here, and we want that to be congruent to CDA, which is this bottom triangle here. Okay. Now, whenever you have a statement like this, where the two letters are the same, so here's AC and here's CA. Okay, even though they're not in the same order, it's referring to the same line. Okay, here's CA and here's AC. Now the reason I'll show you why it's written that way, and why it's not like this. Why it's not like this. Why it's not AC congruent to AC. Because it is the same line, and I think I may have written it that way in one of the periods, but I am fixing it right now. It's not that way because see, if you look at this triangle on the left hand side, A is the first letter, which corresponds to C, and then over here you have C, and on this side you have A. So for this triangle, AC corresponds to CA. Okay, and that's why it's written this way, even though it's referring to the same line. But anyway, that is a reflection. Like whenever you stand in front of the mirror, you see yourself reflected, and hence that's why this next name or reason is called the reflexive property, because it's pretty much the same thing. It's the reflexive property of congruence, I believe. If you can't remember reflexive property, just hopefully you remembered that it's a shared side, and you can tell it's a shared side by looking back at the diagram. That's a shared side. Okay, so either you write down reflexive property or shared side. Okay. And then the last one is our proof statement, and then we have, if we go back to the diagram, we have side, 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 and then hopefully remember that's one of the shortcuts that we're going to use to prove two triangles congruent. It's actually called the side, side, side postulate, and I cannot find my cheat sheet that has all of them on there, but side, side, side is one of them. Side, side, side congruence postulate. Okay, so that's number one. Go ahead and pause it right now. Write this down, and then we're gonna move on. Oh, I'll show you real quick what it needs to look like on your paper, or what I expect you to turn in. So I expect you to turn in something like this. First, last name, that's the worksheet number I told you to put down. And see, and this is number one up here. Number two, I'm just going to fill in the statements here. Okay. Pause it, copy it. I'm moving on. So here's number two. So number two says complete the proof. Again, always start with the given statement. That's given. That's how I know AB is congruent to CB. AB is congruent to CB because that information was given. How do I know D is the midpoint of AC? Because that's also given. And then what you have to remember whenever D is the midpoint, see, D is the midpoint of AC. That means it's the middle, right? That means this side is congruent to this side. And that's AD, and this is CD. And that's the next thing that comes up in my proof. And I said they're congruent because that's what it means. That's the definition of midpoint. That's what it means to be the midpoint. It means you cut a line or a segment in half, and then that half is equal to that half. Okay? And then see, here's one where the two letters are the same. And see, this time they're in order, because again, if you look back up here at the triangle congruent statement, they are in order, BD and BD. Okay? And that is the reflexive property. Pictures everywhere. Or again, if you can't remember that, just say, hey, that's a shared side. Because look up here. BD and BD, shared side. Okay. And then finally, you have, again, in the notes I said, one of the hints is you're always going to end with the proof statement. Triangle ABD is congruent to triangle CBD. Okay? And that, again, you have side, side, side. Side, side, side.